All right. I think we are good to go. Okay. Again, welcome to your Friday Night Live lighting critique. What I'm going to be doing today is taking you through a few submissions here. Also take a look at a couple of animated files that are being sent through. Donika has worked long and hard on this one. We have another iteration, or an iteration here by Mauro of the flickering. I also want to give you all a sneak peek. As I've mentioned previously, Jasmine and I are going to be speaking at SIGGRAPH on Tuesday. We've got a couple cool things that we set up here, little demos on how to make a super janky animated cars. I guarantee you that you can make these in less than like 10 minutes, and we're going to show you how next Tuesday. Also lighting Adam myself for this walkthrough. Going to try a couple different iterations at him, demonstrate how putting him over very cool backgrounds can really be beneficial versus over very warm backgrounds. Other just little lighting tricks and tips here and there. So be on the lookout for that. If you're not attending SIGGRAPH, we will try again to have that probably later next week, the following week, once we have an opportunity to kind of gather ourselves and put the presentation together again. So today, if you feel free to chime in the chat window below, I will be checking that out as we are going through this. And yeah, so let's get into today's critique. Oh, let me go ahead and stop this so that's just not constantly running in my background there. So yeah, so first off, let's take a look at Mauro's. I'm sorry, not Mauro's. We'll take a look at Donika's here. So Donika has, as you can see, has been working on this for a while, since May 13th, and we are at a really lovely finished polished piece here. So I wanted to just kind of take a minute to say really well done, Donika. You've worked really hard on this, and you should be proud of the final result. So really, really fantastic stuff. Let it play through one more time. And like I said, make sure you post it. I know we do everything through Facebook, but make sure you also post it to Vimeo so we can see it at its full resolution. Facebook does some janky compression stuff, and we don't want that to take away from what we've got going on there. So also, thank you to Aaron for posting this really great photorealistic eye demo setup. Really cool stuff. Thank you for including that. And we have and we have Mauro's animated file. So really, really great stuff. The one thing that I question, well, two things. I made this mistake too when I first started. When I first tried to light something like this, I did it where I made the animation kind of pulsate. Like, do you feel that it's kind of like pop, 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 pop? And really, when you're animating light from a movie theater screen or a television screen, it's a little bit different than that. It's bright. Like, think about it, because it changes from shot to shot. So it's really bright, and then it pops to something a little bit darker. So it's like bright and then dark. And then and so you don't really want to it to be like jostling like that, because it's not quite accurate. So it's like pretty static. Then like on one frame or two frames it'll snap to something else, and on one or two frames it'll snap to something else. So that would be my notes on the animation of it. Also, there's a little bit of a disjoint now that is moving that I'm seeing between the color on its face and the color back there. So maybe we just need to warm this up a little bit, and then warm up the rims on these guys just a touch, just to make those feel a little bit more connected. So let me move my microphone here and get into some of this Photoshop stuff. So the other thing that you've included now are the eyeglasses, which is a really, really nice touch. But now that there are eyeglasses there, I really, very much so, I want to see the reflections of this screen in those lenses. Like it would just be like almost like a bright movie theater screen, which I don't want to go too crazy with it, but like, let's see. I'm trying to think, maybe you can find some reference of like you can play around with it and do like a couple iterations where it really kind of stands out, or maybe do a wedge test where you do like a varying scale and just render out a few images to see what it would look like, because there's a fine line between it being cool and then just being distracting and covering up the eyes. So we don't want to get that. But that, like, I feel like right now that I want to see more crystal clear, like a clear reflection of what's on the screen. The other thing that I would try and do is if you can push just a touch of specularity into like these lips and maybe around his nose a little bit too, I think that would help out a lot as well. And then maybe just with a roto shape or something, just warm up the ears a little bit. They're a little grayed out. I would just kind of, or really just increase the saturation on them. Let me go ahead and, actually, you know what, I'll just do that real quick so you guys can see that. Like, they're just looking what is, we will call looking a little bit dingy. And we just want to brighten those up just a little bit. And then I would warm those just a touch too. Maybe something more like that. Just so they're, yeah, I feel like that would be a pretty good spot for them. But yeah, this is looking really, really great. I would be very happy with this. Forrest, so this was your Project 1 update. Good stuff. Like the, I can feel a little bit of that greenish tint off of this wall. The only thing is like this side now feels blurry. Am I crazy? Like this side of him feels like it's out of focus, where the right side of him feels very sharp. Like it goes, oof, that was a terrible drawing. As you follow it up and around this way, it just increases in depth of field. And it really should be like a hard line around the edge, and then like all of this stuff back there falls out of focus. So I would just double check that real quick. Not quite sure what's happening there. Oh, this isn't for this. That was for the presentation. That's the little section on lighting dark-skinned characters. Okay, so now we've got Abhishek. So this is your updated... What would I do? Wait. Oop. Lost my cursor there for a second. Here we go. So this is your updated version here. This is a side-by-side for the previous. I love the color updates. Can definitely make a stronger connection with his skin. In terms of the background, I think you can go, I would go more out of focus in the background, just for comparison's sake. The one that I'm putting together like has about this level of depth of field back there, where it's like this is a straight line and it's kind of it's maybe like a 10 pixel blur back there. And so I think that's something that you may want to consider. And for this one, I literally, all I did was, I don't even think I pulled a Z depth on it. There's a straight blur on so I have the background here rendered separately from the couch, rendered separately from him. And I literally just put like, see, there's a 24 pixel blur back there, a 5 pixel blur on the couch, and then like no blur on him. So I would consider doing something like that to make it fall back into space a little bit. Again, not the super, like it's not technically 100% correct, but I think visually that works out well and creates a nice clean image. So I think that you could do that. I would take down, lost the color of my pen there. I would take down the brightness and saturation on these pants a little bit. And actually, like maybe if you can kind of vignette the light, if it's a spotlight coming down, maybe just kind of like darken it around there. And to really kind of center us in here in the middle. I would take the value of that light down there. Whatever's hitting his hair, if it's different from this, take that down a little bit. If it's the same light, just add a little light blocker if you're using Arnold. I just blanked on the name of it. It's like a rib. What's it called in RenderMan? Whatever it is, most of the renderers now have some sort of light blocking functionality. I like the shaping it's giving up here. Just take down the value of it a little bit. And then, yeah, I like the value on the wall back here a little more. I think that's working out really well. And then just take, like for the eye dings, just take this one down maybe 30%. So this one's about 30% less than this one, because right now it's not, like the key light is not actually, it's stopping right about here, so it's not actually getting into the eye. So it wouldn't actually be that bright. It would be more like a secondary ding at that point. But I think it's all looking great. I think you guys are all coming together. One thing else I wanted to point out from, let's see, where'd I go? Oh, from our community here that I really, really love is there was, oh wait, where'd it go? Update it here. There was just a lot of back and forth between people, a lot of collaboration, a lot of communication. Oh, look at this. Forrest, yours just got added here while I was getting set up. So we're going to do this on the fly. You're getting as live of a lighting critique as I can give. Okay. So let's, this is a starting reference from lighting, but I was designed for the tractor beam. I decided to recreate moonlight and fill in the shadows with the sky dome and HDR. Okay. So this is original reference here. Okay. So lots of warmth, lots of specularity on the street here. Lots of value changes there. And then this for the beam. So this isn't so much for color as look. Okay. So beam. Cool. Okay. So all right, let's take a look at what we're seeing in this reference. Let's start with the beam. So the beam, it's made up of, like all of these are made up of a couple of spotlights. One of the trips of, or the holdups of creating a light beam like this is you always want to, your brain always tells you to do it in one spotlight. And that's not great. So like you maybe, like if you're doing something like this, you'll want to do one down the middle, maybe another one like that, and then like a third one out there to kind of create that shaping. Same thing here. There's like one really tight one and then like a softer one here. Same thing here. Same thing here. Different colors. I believe that's Close Encounters. But just you want to utilize a couple different ones. So the look for this one, these are actually like the shaping is very similar. The thing that's great about these is you've got these small light sources. You've got these street lamps, so you got lots of shaping. Lots of very tight pockets of light and quick fall off into darkness. On this one, loving the specularity on the street, just that like moisture, that wetness is giving it so much reflection, so much life. And you're seeing it kind of all over the place. Even on this wall, there's moisture, there's slickness to it that's really nice. All right, so, first off, you're doing a good job with this beam, but it does look like you're using maybe one and trying to break it up with a gobo. Again, right headspace, but I think we can go a little, I think we can do it with a couple different beams. Don't be afraid to use a couple different lights there. I like how dark it's getting. Actually, in fact, let me put this back into Photoshop. Okay. So I like the darkness that you're getting back behind here. I think that's working out really well, and it really helps this kind of pop forward. The one thing that I think is that this shadow could be softened, like all these shadows that we're seeing here and down here, all this stuff can be softened a little bit. And I think that would help to generate the sense of scale of this overhead light, because it's like right now it feels like the entire ship is maybe like this big, and then the light source is like right here, and that's kind of big for it. So I want it to feel big and massive, and a massive overhead light would generate a very soft shadow. Now the other so I want you to start with those. I think you can tighten up the beam a little bit too, like the spill that's kind of happening over here. We could tone that down and really isolate it to just the middle here. And then the other things that that's what I want you to work on with the beam. With the other stuff, let me go back to, just pull this closer. Going back to your reference. So a couple things that I'd like to see. Number one is more of that specularity like we're seeing on the road and in the surroundings. And the other thing that I really like to do with these kind of creepy sci-fi images is to just go ahead and try and push two distinctly different complementary colors to really play off of each other. Because like you've already got it started with a little pocket of warm light here. Go ahead and put some in the foreground too. Like allow everything in this box to be like that green color, and then allow everything around here to be some semblance. Maybe even you can lock it up to here, because you can use this to pull some warm light around here. Put a couple off-camera lights, like pulling some warm light in here, and that'll allow that super green light beam to really kind of pop out from that, because you're creating a contrasting element, which will be really nice. I wouldn't do anything behind it, because all that's going to do is create some visual clutter and visual confusion. So I would take that down and then, and really work towards that. The other thing to watch out for is, and this may be a thing, but it looks like there's even a light source right here in the middle of this box, because it's very bright in there. And that might just be a result of the top-down light, but something to be aware of there. I mean, you can make it cool. You can make it like something is glowing on the inside there if you wanted. And then, and then just specularity on the street. Just added spec hits all around there. So I think that's everything for today. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else's. Yeah, I think that's everyone. Okay, great. But like I said, Aaron's got some really great stuff here. Going to be doing some new texture and lighting stuff. Can't wait to see that. But there was just like, it was in here. I love this, right? So Forrest is like, hey, I got some issues. Like there's this janky thing down the middle. There's a weird UV thing that got fixed. And you guys are just like helping each other out, and it's really, really beneficial and really cool to see, because that's what happens in the industry, right? Like this looks like one of the conversations I have at work all the time. So it's very inspiring to see. Just make sure, see if anyone's hopped over here, asked any questions. I don't see any questions in the chat window. So if you're watching this in the follow-up on our YouTube channel, throw them in the comments below. I'll make sure to check them out, and I will talk to you all very soon. And enjoy your weekend, everybody. Move this way, do a full screen here. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and happy lighting, and I'll see you guys soon.